And we are live. Today's reading is since the 2021 SRF convocation has just um, ended in August. It was an immersion, 7 or 8 days in a row immersion. I attended some of the classes and I'm working on some of the meditation techniques, such as Hong Sao, and it takes a lot of concentration, but I'm working on it gradually. But I took some really good notes, and I just want to record these notes onto the camera, onto video footage. And I thought they were good pointers. It's a good review for me and a good review for whoever's out there that didn't go to the convocation this year. Well, since it's COVID, the convocations is basically bringing it to us at home. So every year there's more and more viewers going to the convocation SRF, so that's great. Every year the consciousness and awareness is raising on the planet, so gradually we're getting to that unity consciousness, divine consciousness, thanks to our beloved Guru, Master Paramahansa Yogananda, and all the saints and sages, all religions, Yahamani Body All, Mahavatar Babaji, Lord Krishna, Jesus Christ, Nehru Mashai, Swami Shri Tishraji, all the lineage of the gurus. So the first notes I have, the title is called Living the Vision of the Autobiography, and it talks about um, when Master started writing the autobiography and what years it was mainly written, and some other monks and brothers' thoughts on the autobiography and what they say, and you get a deeper insight into the autobiography and the vision of it. So let me share with you some of my notes from the 2021 convocation, Living the Vision and the Autobiography. So as you know, the autobiography Yogi was published in 1946, but the writing actually, Master began writing it in 1931, writing the autobiography. And the main years of the writing took place between the years of 1937 to 1945. In that 8 year period, that's when the main years of the autobiography was written. And it's considered a spiritual guidebook. And in the autobiography of Yogi, there's layers and layers of truth. So each time you read it, you understand it on a deeper level. Brother Primoy recommended reading the autobiography at least 10 times just to even understand it. So most people have read it maybe once, 2 times, or 3 times, but imagine reading it 10 times or more. You definitely understand it on a deeper level. The autobiography is filled with foundations of truth. It's one of the only books out there ever written that actually explains a lot of spiritual truths and of religion, and what a lot of questions a lot of people have about spirituality, and everything that you want to know about spirituality is in that book, Autobiography of Yogi. The understanding of karma, cause and effect. And the other note I wrote was every time you read the autobiography, you have a living guru when you read the autobiography. The Master Paramahansa Yogananda is right there with you. His consciousness and vibration is right there. You're reading it right from the word, of the printed word from Master. So again, it's a spiritual guidebook, and there's layers of truth. You want to read it at least 10 times to understand it. And there's the foundations of truth. And it was actually nominated as one of the top 100 books of all time. Um, the autobiography truly is a masterpiece that Master has written, and It's a gift to the world. He said, I want to make not hundreds, but thousands or hundreds of thousands of Kriya yogis all over, scattered like stars. Okay, and then my next notes are something I'm working on also. Goes over the energization exercise techniques. I'll just basically review some of the basic notes I took. There's 838 exercises, energization techniques. Some of the notes I put were focus. You want to focus on the calmness during the exercises. Tense with will and relax and feel. You want to. It's better to do it slowly and correctly rather than fast and not correct. Prana is a sacred energy and concentration. Lesson number 4 is the Hong Sao technique, and that's an excellent technique for calmness and to get rid of troubles and disturbances. I wrote down here, this is interesting. The heart and breath keeps the cells full of energy. So the heart and breath work together to keep those cells full of energy. The spiritual path and the meditation and the energization and all the techniques, it's a way of life. A state of deep peace. When you feel a state of deep peace, that is the first sign of God. I wrote there. Some questions you should ask when you're in that deep peace is, what should my philosophy be? What should be my attitude be? What is my true nature? And contemplate that your true nature actually is Satchitananda, infinite bliss consciousness, your spirit, soul. The purpose of life is freedom in God. I wrote, that's a good note. Being a spiritual seeker during a complex world, and we can rise beyond the age we were born. Virtue is supreme in the higher ages. And I wrote down, this is a good note. It's time now, especially in this age of 2021, it's time now to know who you really are. Conscious passivity and meditation with a relaxed mind. Okay, going on to my next notes for the rest of the convocation. There's some good notes I wrote on forgiveness, again, self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. That's one of the main reasons that Christ came here. Of course, the message of love, but also love and forgiveness. It says here, quote, you have to have a strong desire to meditate, a strong mental resolve to change, cultivating ever deepening devotion. And like Lord Krishna, you have to say, let me like you in all your ways. Meditation is a source of science of spiritual transformation. The yama and yanas, I'm working on that, the do's and don'ts. Learning to behave is everything. Proper behavior, actions, kindness to others. The Lord is always with us no matter what happens. I love this note from the Bhagavad Gita. It says, where there is Krishna, victory is. The more we forgive, the less we are offended. In forgiveness, we transcend the ego sense of self-importance. So I think like trying to detach and not take things personally. The prayer, thy will be done. We are instruments of God's kingdom and light. Forgiveness is holiness. Pray for release of all negative thoughts. The traits and qualities of forgiveness and gentleness are eternal and virtues. Our soul intuition that'll work within us, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, between the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. It says, "Arise, awake, my agent thou. God is the whisperer in the temple of conscience, of the temple of light. The wisdom within will tell the path you should follow. Say, I am calm, centered, and at peace. I am calm, centered, and at peace. I am calm, centered, and at peace. My soul speaks when you practice Hong Sao." A young devotee of SRF said, "My soul speaks when you practice Hong Sao technique." And ask yourself every once in a while an introspection question: what direction am I going in life? And also ask yourself, maybe every 90 days, who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? What direction am I going in life? Am I going in the right direction? If not, then you can change the direction. Because we're human beings, we're not animals or plants. The difference between human beings, plants, and animals is plants and animals are fixed in their habits and DNA and can only go based on their genetic code. But human beings, we have consciousness, so we can we can go north, we can go south, we can go east, west. For 90 days we can go that way, and then for the next 90 days we can go another direction. So you want to always introspect and see and make sure you're going in the right direction in life, and always ask the most valuable question: who am I becoming? I know this is not for mess her up, but it's tied in here. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, a business philosopher, said, "The greatest value in life is not what you get; it's who you become." So don't, even on the job that you're working at or the business, don't ask yourself, "What am I getting?" Ask yourself, "Who am I becoming?" That's the most valuable thing. What you get in life is not as valuable as who you become. Who you become is more valuable. Then in your life, you want to know the person you became, the characteristics, the qualities you attained, the personal development, spiritual development you attained. That's the most valuable thing at the end of the day and at the end of one's life. The next notes in the convocation, again in the month of August 2021. Om Tat Sat, I wrote at the top of the page. That's the Holy Ghost, the great comforter that was written in the Bible from St. John. It says Master had a recording during the and it said you can only reach God through the Holy Ghost. Lesson number 8 is on meditation on God and Om. Why contact with Om is important. Because we at the bottom there's the ego consciousness, and then there's different levels and layers, and at the top is the divine or cosmic consciousness. And it goes on about the 5 elements: earth, fire, water, ether, space, and air. Stay open and receptive. Quote, I will, that's like a determination, resolve. A, reason. B, will and act. I will reason, will, and act to do the right thing that I should do. Be regular in the Om technique. And then this is interesting. This is very key. The more you practice it, the more you'll love it. the more you'll fall in love with the technique of Om technique. And the success is attained. Next notes are from the Holy Science, which I got to read again. There's a great section on nutrition and diet in there about the importance of being a vegan, vegetarian, and eating lots of fruit, an abundance of fruits, vegetables, and grains and nuts. And also, there's a section where Swami Sri Yukteswar talks about how human beings were, our whole digestive system was not designed actually to eat meat. We were designed to be vegetarians based on our design and our structure of our organs or digestive system and inner development. We're all designed actually to be vegetarians that's based on the Holy Science. And yeah, if you want to read it, you should read it. You can check it out at the SRF bookstore or order it online or go into any spiritual bookstore and read it. The Holy Science by Swami Sri Yukteswarji. You got to read it. Excellent book. As well as the autobiography of Yogi. The evolution of the heart. Swami Sri Yukteswar in the Holy Science talks about how the spiritual path is equivalent to the evolution of the heart. We want to be in love with love, moving from a personal dependency to an inner source of power. And it says, the joy of God is everlasting. And you want to say and affirm within, I am in love with love. Love is it's just spiritual. Purify the heart, love. Self-realization is the expanding of the heart. I like that. There's a cosmic chant that you want to review and listen to. It's called I Give You My Soul Call. You can build a soul call. Ardor must be created. A bunch of devotees actually were sitting around listening to Brother Anandamayi talk. And someone, one of the brothers asked Brother Anandamayi, what is the secret to devotion? And Brother Anandamayi surprised the group of brothers monks. He said the secret to devotion is willpower. So interesting. Next notes actually was really good. It was based on it was for the youth, but I found that like any age can listen to this and adapt to this and learn from it to build a good spiritual foundation. It's good for any all ages, but it's specifically targeted at the youth. But it said building a spiritual foundation for the youthful seeker, but it can be anyone at any age actually. I got a lot out of this one actually, even though I'm middle age 40, but I got a lot out of it because I think everyone can listen to the basics and fundamentals and hear it one more time, you know. I like this note. It says, when everything melts away, divine joy remains. When there's problems in your life that you don't think that are going to go away, always affirm, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Breathe and relax. We need to learn how to breathe and relax. Our culture and society has never taught us that. We have to breathe and relax through proper breathing. We want to structure our life and our daily plan and all our goals and our priorities and how we manage our time with God first. And then we want to have our plans and goals and then awaken your heart. Get into the habit of reading the spiritual diary, 1 page a day from Master's Spiritual Diary. There's a quote and topic of the day. I like this. It says, what we imagine, we create. What we think, we become. What we feel in the heart, we attract. Um, it was a reaffirmation about the importance of scientific healing affirmations book, especially the one on and they emphasized the one on the psychology of success affirmations. So you want to affirm that the psychology of success daily. I am brave. I am strong. I'm sweet. I'm kind. I'm cool and calm. I'm love and sweetness. I'm charming and magnetic. I wipe away all tears and fears. I have no enemy in front of all. That kind of gives you the psychological success. Seeing the scientific healing affirmations. Until we are anchored in God, there will be troubles. With the dawn, you say, you see in the very beginning of the to set the tone of the day in the morning, this is a good affirmation or declaration of truth. I'm going to create eternal joy, a new word with the dawn. You want to constantly keep busy. Um, you want to have creative projects of improvement. You got to know what you want. Learn to love being alone in solitude. A lot of cultures don't teach that about being on your own, being in solitude. You always have to be with someone or be in a group. But learn how to be comfortable on your own. You're your own best friend at the end of the day. So you want to enjoy your own company. Say you're the only one that I have and I love you. You know? You're all that I got, as Leo Biscaglia says. So be your own best friend. And I got one more. Oh, God, got some more here. Introspection of exploring the workings of the inner self. Got some interesting notes here on introspection. It's a psychological introspection. You want to use at least one of these three tools to monitor your progress. You want to usually do either charts, graphs, or you can write in your journal. You want to give up the ego self. You want to make introspection a part of your spiritual path. You want to be compassionate with yourself. Become anchored in the changeless. The breath and thoughts are connected. So the calmer the breath, the calmer the mind. For introspection, it re-emphasizes you want to read the first chapter of God Talks with Arjuna. And there they talk a lot about introspection, spiritual introspection. So if you want to review on that, you can read that chapter. In the 2-volume Bhagavad Gita commentaries from Master Brahmantugananda. And remember this, the Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So at the end of the day, our outer circumstances still are similar, but it's the inner circumstances that change, the inner change. You want to remove the filters, focus on the spiritual introspection, and ask, who am I? That's the deep spiritual question that's been asked for thousands of years. From Master Brahmantu Yogananda, teachings to Ramana Maharshi, all the great yogis and spiritual teachers always ask that question, and of the seekers. The real self is called the Atman. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be created. It always is and always have been. Spiritual introspection helps the meditation. When you're doing the introspection, you want to be sincere. When you're doing that Hong Sao technique, you want to get beyond the mind. That song, I am He, I am He. You want to let go of the ego consciousness. Then I wrote this note here. It's interesting. Your higher self purifies the lower self and does not destroy it. And then the gunas, sattva, you want to write down the positive attributes. The next notes are spiritual journey through meditation, a journey to spiritual freedom. At the top of it, I wrote down, we are ever new joy. You and you alone can only cultivate the desire for God. Talks about the holy science again. You want to go and read that book, Holy Science by Swami Sri Yukteswar. The cosmic Om is the beginning of all creation. In prayer and in meditation, you always want to work on depth. Depth is the key. The zeal, the ardor, the grace of God. 25% is from the devotee, 25% is the guru, and then 50% is the grace of God. So we got to do our part. Eventually, you want to memorize the poem Samadhi, read the poem on Samadhi. It describes the direct experience. Kala equals time, and Gesha equals space. So time and space are ideas. The devotee goes beyond time and space to the timeless, where time does not exist. Practice with much love. If you love God enough, you will be free. And there's a quote from Master. It says, everything can wait, but your search for God cannot wait. The importance of focus and concentration. Whatever you're engaged in, make sure it's your number one priority. Read the chapter again on cosmic consciousness. And then there's some notes briefly. If you want to know about Kriya Yoga, you can read that chapter in the autobiography. But there's a section on the Convocation about the science of Kriya Yoga. I just got a little bit of notes here to share with you. It says Kriya Yoga can transform your life. Kriya Yoga is a powerful meditation technique. You have to be initiated from one of the head monks of SRF. That is the Kriya initiations. Kriya holds us steady and knows us strong. The chapter of Kriya Yoga should be read again through repetition again, reading to the autobiography of Yogi. The history of Kriya Yoga, basically, it tells it in the Kumbh Mela and how Babaji initiates Lirhe Mashai in Kriya Yoga at one of the Kumbh Melas. And then that's how it goes down to the lineage of the gurus. And then Swami Sri Yukteswar initiates Master Paramahansa Yogananda. And then Master Paramahansa Yogananda initiates it to all his disciples from SRF. And it continues on. But it started from Mahavatar Babaji. Through Kriya Yoga, inner quiet and feels wonderful. You feel the calmness in your spine. It says you embrace the spiritual discipline. And Kriya Yoga, there's nothing like Kriya Yoga to burn past karma. That's what I definitely need to make life a little bit more easier and smoother with effortless ease. Good karma makes life fun and easy and a little bit more smoother. That's the key. Kriya Yoga destroys the seeds of bad karma of the past. Master Paramahansa Yogananda was ordained to teach Kriya Yoga, to bring it from the east to the west. Kriya is a way of life, and Master Paramahansa Yogananda was the chosen one to bring it to the west. Like Master said, he said, I don't want hundreds or thousands. He goes, I want hundreds of thousands or millions of Kriya yogis scattered like stars all over planet Earth and all over. And then I got a few more notes here. This one is just brief. The topic was God's unconditional love and friendship through the Guru. It is the 75th anniversary of the book, The Autobiography of a Yogi. So you want to go out and buy that book and buy lots of the copies for your friends, for your coworkers, and anyone that you love. They'll just really love the book, Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a masterpiece and special. You're gonna go through it and read it again and again. I promise you. So it's a treasure. 3 keys to unconditional love and friendship with the Guru. You want to surrender, humility, and non-attachment. Those 3 qualities and attributes are saint qualities. All saints have those. So we can adopt them and use that as a role model. Surrendering to life in the process, humility. With humility comes wisdom. That's a quote from the Bible. And then non-attachment. We want to be detached. And I got one more notes to share with you, and I'll be back in one moment. It's my other journal, actually. And to wrap up this year's convocation in 2021, the month of August, Brother Chinananda, the topic of the closing ceremony was called Finding a Spiritual Compass in Our Changing World. He reminded us of some key points. We want to develop a personal connection with Master. We all have to feel the companionship of God within us and know that we are never alone. The eternal fellowship of God. It's not our age, but our willingness. That's a key word, willingness. Make the Lord the shepherd of your soul. Review the talk from Sri Dayamata from the 1993 convocation. Um, the footage and video is called The Promise of Light, and it's on the YouTube video. You can watch it. And back in 1993, Sri Dayamata was talking about things that were actually things today in 2021 that we're dealing with today. So all the way back in 1993, Sri Dayamata was talking about that, and we're still going through this process today in 2021. So it's amazing how ahead of time she was, and the insight and spiritual enlightenment that Sri Dayamata had. We want to keep that soul connection alive and going, create momentum during this convocation of 8 days immersion, and keep it going through the next year. Never underestimate group meditations, but also um, we succeed or fail based on as individuals. So again, we want to get rid of the negativity or surround ourselves with negative energy, and surround ourselves with positive, upbeat people, but plus get into the right environment. We want to get rid of brain and soul fog. They blur our vision. The first thing is we have to clear the vision. We have to see more correctly. We have to have a spiritual vision. Just like Lord Krishna taught Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita to have a spiritual vision through the spiritual eye, so you can cut through all this Maya and BS and garbage that the world sometimes throws at us. We have to have a spiritual compass that transcends everything. And one way to do that is through consistent practice of Kriya Yoga, and how to have a more consistent desire for God. Only us individuals can make that commitment and practice. We have to have a burning desire, as Napoleon Hill says, and we have to have that consuming obsession with finding enlightenment and samadhi, developing that personal connection with God. We become what we concentrate on. So what you focus on expands. Brother Chidananda said, we become what we concentrate on. So the power, wherever our attention is, that's where we are. When our attention is in the present moment, we're in the presence of God. So we want to concentrate on the Om technique, Hong Sao, and also Kriya Yoga technique. And again, it's the ongoing transmission of spiritual consciousness. And then my last note that I wrote down in my notes for the 2021 convocation was Brother Chinanda reminded us all again too that the only way the world changes is when the individual changes. And as Mahatma Gandhi says, he said, be the change we want to see in the world. So Brother Chinanda said, the only way the world changes is when individuals change. And those are my summary, my notes from the 2021 convocation. I hope it was a great review and reminder for you. I know it was for me. And God bless you, and namaste. And I will talk to you again. All right. Much love. God bless.